Oh, I can't believe what I just did. Because I've literally gone, oh, just before, and then what I did, I clicked on live. You click Control and R on one of these if you want to name it. Because basically, I was telling you guys to keep your stuff tidy and name your samples. I can see Control R, but what Control R does, it stops the recording. So I've literally stopped the recording and then gone and finished practically part one of this fucking video, which is annoying. So I will just go quickly through what I was going to do. Obviously, name these other samples that you want to name. So at the moment, you can't see these. Pretend these bottom three don't exist. So I'll go back to what I was doing. So we are in this position, which is here. So mute these. Yeah, let's get rid of these. Okay. So at this point, I need to decide what kind of beat that I want. So I have organized loops here. So I have a nice place where my loops live. And then also I've got packs which you have part of Ableton if you buy it, and you can buy more packs off them and get more packs at ableton.com. So I've got a 110. See, basically, I'm almost thinking it's a hip-hop track. Should it be a hip-hop track? Then obviously I want to kind of bring it up towards the slight EDM rock element. I don't know, some jumpy, bouncy. So I thought, well, I'll go for a dubstep maybe. So what I do is I go to Organize Loops and then I drag in a dubstep beat. So I will show you my examples. There you go. So I think it was one of these. So I'm going to listen to these. Choose one I like. Now, obviously, the fact that they're at 140 means that they're going to sound a bit weird when they've been put in. So, for instance, I drag one from there and put it straight into here. When I drag it into here, it cut, like, this is where Ableton's brilliant. It goes, oh, that's a beat, that's a hi-hat, and it just fits it in. So usually when people make samples, they'll start it and edit the beat, and then Ableton will just go, oh, there we go, and it works brilliantly. So I've put a dubstep beat in here. Let's try and find it in here now. There we go. So it's this one. And I just dragged it in like that. Okay. So together they sound like this. Now some people may say, I have a Ableton push, and what you can do as well is on the packs you can, and I suppose you can do it with, you could do it with other drum samplers are available, but the Ableton is great because if you've got organized loop, any of these you can just control it with Ableton, with the push, select them, and then just all of a sudden, bang, you've opened up a step sequencer to do your rhythms. Now, people out there will go, why are you using samples? You should make your own beats. Well, I do make my own beats. You're just not giving me a chance yet. So what I do, the reason sometimes I just throw a sample on is because it's quicker for me, because it gives me that that feel. I'm not messing about with beats for ages. I'm literally going, that doesn't work, or that does work. So listening to that, I kind of, if I'm imagining people jumping and bouncing about, then I'm like, okay. So, but what I do is I know that, so I kind of listen to it. So jump around is all about people jumping around, isn't it? So what I do is I go, right, well, I like the beats. I can always redo the beats with different kicks and whatever, but to start with now, I just want to use these. So let me just... So I know that's a kick. I know that's a snare. So I will do this. So that's an example of what I'd do. And again, I'd rename this top one to kick, and I'd rename the bottom one to snare. The hi-hats, again, we can put those on another line, but at the moment I'm just roughly building the track. So do I like that? I don't know. What other alternatives are there that you ask? Well, I did do a version of this years ago as a sort of drum and bass version. So we'd have to bring it down to 90. Yeah, 90 BPM. So if we try that 90 BPM, is it going to still rock? Doesn't work. See, that track just at 110. Jump around, jump around, jump up and get down, jump. Have to envision what the crowd's going to be doing at that point. So there's that. If we did want to go drum and bass, we'd have to bring it down to 90 and put a drum and bass beat in. So if we move this to a new section, if I then take a kick and then take a... I'm doing that by just holding control and dragging, and then take that. So I need it to go... Let's get rid of those. Dum tap, bum bat, bum bat, bum bat, bum bat. So it's all in the one, isn't it? Bum bat, bum bat, bum ba. Is it? There you go. Yeah, so that's fine. And you can just cut that there. Actually, quite nice to keep that going, maybe. Just to do it like that. Do you think? It's too much. Better that way. So just delete that and then add that across. Now we have got... Oh yeah, I'm stretching it just by... There's a little hand at the top. If you go up to the top of the this bar above the numbers, then you can sort of click it and bring your mouse up and down, and it'll stretch it and open it, so it's easy to work with. Again, this can then be done with there is a shortcut key, and there's also on the Ableton push just a turn a knob and it works. But again, I've new on the Ableton push, so to do this as quick as I'm doing at the moment, I won't be able to do it. But hopefully one day. So yeah, so if we try that, switch these back on. Let's try it without the scream. Oh yeah, I've not I've done what I've just gonna do next because of the video, but if we just stick these back in. If you're wondering what that bit I've just deleted, that's the one that I did when I wasn't recording the video. So does that work? Well, you've just had a sneak preview of what I'm going to do next is literally shorten the time on these, because it does it work? Well, for start, that screen doesn't work. So let's do it on the screen first. Double click them and then press this little button here where it says 2 or *2. So that one will make it longer. That makes it shorter, I think. So if you just click that, it'll shorten the. There you go. So it's gone from that amount to half, and it'll sound like this. And then you obviously got to copy them across. Again, see, this is the only difficult part. So then I'm like, well, this now needs shortening. So let's shorten this one and duplicate that across. And we have. I mean, the bass line is nice. If I take like, so if I just want to sort of emphasize the bass again, I can put an EQ onto the main sample and take off the top. So bam, 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 which works. But you still need that piano bit, don't you? So it's very hard to decide. So we have two things that I'm going to work towards. Now, do we go with a 110? I mean, if we bring that down again to like 80 at 160, is that going to work? From there. Let's try a bit faster. Maybe. Beat. So the dilemma I've got, the beat needs to be for a drum and bassy type track. It needs to be at 90. Difficult. For the other part, it needs to be. Well, I think I might just go for 110 for now, and then play with it after. And it might be about using different samples and beats and basses to try and get a little bit of something going on it. Oh yeah, what I did before, which was on when I realised, I just stuck a melody and just stick that on, just see what it feels like. See, I even think the scream needs a little bit of work. Just needs a bit of something. I don't know if it's just out. go. That's it for part one. Now comes the hard bit of really trying to make it work and trying to be happy with it, and then also thinking about how to play this live. Now, there's different ways of doing things. Now, for solo, or what I'm going to do is, the beautiful thing you could do is grab all these. So what you do then is go, well, this is a nice kick sample, so you consolidate. This is a nice hi-hat snare sample, so consolidate. Then I say this is my bar of samples, my little melody sample, whatever. Or you could do it over 4-way, to be fair. Yeah, it makes more sense. Let's do 4-way. So consolidate. So that's a nice kick sample, consolidate. Now, obviously, if I was labelled these properly, they would be called. Oh, no, they wouldn't. Yeah, you can rename samples, I think. Popeye the Hitchmaker. I think you have to do, because they call them clips, don't they? So, yeah. So, we've got these clips. So, what you do now is you grab them and then drag them up onto, not onto there. It's about, there you go. So, you drag them and then take them to the top. See? There. Do. I think you can as well. Click tab. There you go, yeah. Click tab. And then you can drop them onto here. So now playing doesn't become whatever's on there. So you could almost delete all that if you wanted to do completely live, which is great. You can even have the whole tune as just one sample. So the beautiful thing you can do is I can go, right, well, I've got, again, I'd name these at the top so I know what I'm doing. But I can just go, so if we stop all clips, and then I think you have to press, there you go. How do you do this now? I think, so I haven't done this for a while, but there's a button you press which switches off using any of them. Literally switches the lot off. Which might be that. Yeah. So as soon as I've faded out, you're all right. Again, that's something. It's this little button here which will mute all these, any of this. So I'm almost can use these. Then you can stop all clips, which is this one, and then you can just have. So I've got my beat, and then my melody. Then what you need to do is right click. No, you double click. Double click, yeah. No, you don't. You go down the bottom here, and that's your loop, and then you loop it by clicking loop, and then you can also change how you press it. So you can trigger this then with a pad or whatever. So this should loop. There you go. So then I want to do the same with this loop. Start here. 1, 2, 3, go. So because I haven't looped that first one, you could do an almost chorus. You could even duplicate it up to, you could extend the loop to 8 bars or anything like that, so that after, once you would press this master trigger button, it'll play all of them. But obviously the looped ones will keep looping, and then that screen one will finish. So you could do it as a chorus. So I'm just thinking of how I would do it. So when I do it live, I could go, well, I could just press play and then, oh look, it's great. But then it'd be nice to tweak some stuff and play with some EQs and can drop these samples out. It'd be also nice to mix in some other stuff. Plus, at the end of the track, I would like to mix in another track and do it like that, and then also work with my vocals and trigger some other samples as well. So there's different ideas. I could take out and play the beat myself. There's lots of different ways that we're going to do, and it's just about me thinking about what I'm doing. So I'm going to Love You and Leave You for part 1, and then part 2 I will hopefully have most of this track done. And apologies for the abrupt stop when I decided to rename things. So I'll catch you in a bit for part 2. Cheers. Oh yeah, if any please like and subscribe to the channel, and if you've got any questions or concerns, then let me know and I'll try and help out whatever I can. Alright, bye.